Hi, and welcome to an Organized Chaos podcast. I'm Bobby Quarters. Chaos is here with me as well. We just wanted to thank you for watching.
Yes. Hey, Bobby.
And hey, and while you're here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You could follow me on YouTube as well as Chaos and the podcast channel, which all three of those channels will be streaming this very show you're about to watch. All these counselors start dropping dead, left and right. Heinous killings. Turns out, that kid who drowned the year before, his mother came back to that camp and exacted revenge.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Yes, the fucking thing does suck, and it's like I brain fart on how StreamYard works for a second. I was like, hey, I pressed the button. Why didn't stuff pop up?
The fucking thing sucks, man.
True.
The fucking thing sucks, as Biller says it so eloquently.
Which, I mean, is definitely a term I could use to describe some of the stuff we watched this week, but
yeah.
Oh my god.
Those are words that describe what we watched this week.
Yeah, we can get into it. We got Captain America 1990. Yes, we are covering plastic-eared Captain America this time. We got
that too.
Yeah. Oh god. We got the beginning of the final season of Star Trek Discovery. We'll cover the first half of that, and then we're talking about Section 31. So kind of a Star Trek week. So I guess this shirt's appropriate, although this is better Trek, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it. I mean,
I don't have a Star Trek. My shirt is Boba Fett in the shape of the state of Ohio.
Okay. I guess
I saw it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. I know. I know George and I were looking at shirts one time, and we came across one. It was back when Bush was in office, but it was a shirt in the style of the logo for Empire Strikes Back, except instead of Star Wars, instead of where it says Star Wars, it says United States. Instead of saying the Empire Strikes Back, it says the Empire Strikes First. It's like, oh damn.
Oh man, I've seen those.
It's like, yeah.
I've seen a few pretty funny ones lately.
Yeah. Any highlights?
More like niche fandom, cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like where I got this one was a company based out of Cleveland called Cleveland Sleeves.
Okay, nice.
They had some pretty cool, like Ohio themed ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mostly Cleveland sports teams.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Like,
Does
I had
Cleveland have
another
sports
of their
teams?
shirts. Oh yes, and quite a bit. They also I have another one of their shirts, or I used to. It doesn't really fit that well anymore, but it's a stormtrooper. But he's done in like the Blue Jackets, red, blue, and white. So, but it's a stormtrooper. They had different variants. You can get it in your Browns, your Bengals, your at the time Indians, now Guardians, and the Reds and the Buckeyes.
Okay.
Yeah. All pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, speaking of stuff that's cool, Um, I can't really link this with cool at all. Captain America
Oh, I
1990,
can.
guys.
I can.
Yeah, you definitely enjoyed this more than me, and I can say, there's definitely elements to this where it's like, oh, that's funny. So
Yeah, and I just kind of went with the laughs and let it keep rolling.
I'll be honest, this one's a chore for me. I was watching this, I was like, oh man, I feel sorry for Bobby, but I'm glad you enjoyed the
Oh
dumbness
God,
because
no!
there
I
is
loved
dumb
this.
elements here. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Um,
just dumb. I could turn off my brain and be
mhm,
like, "Oh, this is funny." So
mhm.
I wanted to do some research about it because like it was more of like the legality of like who owned the rights. How did it go from one production company to having just being rebooted so quickly? You know,
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind,
and
like,
then
11 years may not seem like super long for a reboot nowadays, but like back then, that's decent
it's
turnover.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I did some research,
Mhm.
and you're familiar with Canon Films, right?
Yes, in fact, that name popped up when I was watching this. I was like, I'm
So
surprised I didn't see their name here.
yes, he owned the film rights at this point, and like when he left Canon, he took him with him, and he started this movie company solely off
Okay.
this, which this was the launching pad for that studio.
Mm,
And I just immediately went, "Oh, it's like a Canon movie. Okay,
it is
I'll
so
enjoy
much
it
like a
no matter
canon
what."
movie.
And I went into it with that mindset because I saw the name and I knew the name, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be just delightful." And yes,
Mm.
I loved everything about this. Is it good? Absolutely not.
No, this is like I
Is
said,
it
this
some
is
B
sure, but
action movie schlock that is like definitely a product of the over the top action movie of the 80s? Yeah.
yeah.
But it's so good. But
No, I mean,
legitimately, there are some pretty decent action sequences.
true,
Like when
true.
he
I'll
just
give it
like
that.
straight flipped over the car and beat the
Yeah, there's a
crap out of
couple,
that
like he does a
dude.
couple of acrobatic stuff where it's like, that actually looks all right. Yeah, I mean, this one definitely has a higher budget than the Red Brown movies. Although I do think this suit somehow looks worse than the motorcycle helmet suit, which is I'm not sure how they accomplished that one. I'm sure it has to do with the fake ears and
No, those
just
are his real ears.
his real ears are made of plastic. Matt Salinger
Well,
famously
I
has
mean, I don't
plastic
know.
ears.
The last few shots, like me and my friend when we were watching it, we were kind of taking a close look, like, wait a minute, because it was right about to that point in the movie where we're both like, wait a, what's wrong with his ears?
Yeah.
Like, why do they look so funny? I just haven't. I just noticed it now.
um.
Oh
So no, it's not Red Skull that does that, but it is like he has an assassin in the lab for Captain America, and then they let the experiment
yes,
go through,
yes.
and
That
then the
is
dude's like,
exactly.
"Hey, scientist, good job! Hi, Hitler, boom!"
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a moment that got me a chuckle. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure." Yeah, so this is the movie where I mean, to this movie's credit, like it actually does the full like Captain America's frozen in ice. Captain America starts out in World War II, then he gets frozen in ice for at this point probably like 35 years or whatever, and then he's resurrected, and then he immediately starts stealing cars because that's what Captain America does, guys. I'm not
Hey!
even
Michael
fucking
Myers.
joking. I'm not even
Michael Myers knew how to drive.
true. Um, Now it was kind of
Oh wait, go
hilarious
back.
because
Yeah.
we can go back. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
right. So I mean, that's one of the funny things about this. So Red Skull is he's in World War II. So this movie does change the so like I guess like the
Red
science
Skull's
it's kind of the
origin.
same thing where it's like the scientist who made Red Skull regrets it and defects to the United States and then refines the serum and makes Captain America, and it's like the best version of the serum. This movie is one thing that does it absolutely is bizarre and a weird idea. So it comes up with Red Skull makeup. I'm not gonna. It's a bit creepy. Okay, so it's full. It's not this. It's not this crap. So it
That's
it's
much
like the
later.
full Red Skull. Yeah, that's the thing. So like he has the full normal Red Skull like outfit, and I want to see if it pops up somewhere in here. But that's at the beginning of the movie, and then he fights Captain America. And then after Captain America goes to sleep, he has this face, and it's like it really feels like the
Man,
backwards order.
Which, man, there was some shots, I'll tell you, like this one in particular, that I was just like, why does this seem like a Power Rangers villain?
Yeah,
Like the way they're shooting
definitely.
this. See, I just found the humor in it, and I just that's how I watched it. That's how
Oh,
I
yeah,
get
I
through the
love
bad
how-
ones, man. Oh, this,
Dude,
yeah, I love
yeah.
that.
Oh, the bike doesn't have any brakes, so they just fly it off a fucking cliff, and I'm like, okay, just because it doesn't have any brakes doesn't mean you can't stop it. You know that, right? There are ways to stop a bike before you fly off the
You
fucking
could like
cliff,
jump
right?
off of the bike,
Yeah.
you know, try that.
You can purposely crash the bike. You can slam your feet on the ground. You can, there's all types of options before you fling yourself off the cliff. It's wild. Oh yeah, and I did think it was interesting how, so Captain America is defrosted, and then there's all of a sudden these like hot chicks after him, and it turns out they're Red Skull assassins, and they kind of chase him throughout the movie. And
I thought
one
they
of
were his
them
daughters.
is it his daughter? I knew one of them was definitely his
I thought
daughter.
they all were his daughters.
Are they all his daughters? Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
Looking at his face, he must have a fucking gorgeous woman he's sleeping with. Holy shit.
Or like, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so and we of course get
No,
introduced.
it's live.
This is
Nah,
pre-recorded. We are pre-recorded, Bobby.
Nah.
What?
Nah, did you not see Bill earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it live, okay?
Yeah, fuck it. We'll do it live.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, there's one of his daughters. Oh yeah, the Achilles heel for Red Skull. So at the very beginning of the movie, we see Red Skull be abducted as a child and his family killed, and so he can be captured and be turned into the Red Skull. And then Captain America and Sharon, who is the daughter of his love interest and his new love interest, because Captain America.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's
it
not
is
weird.
It is weird. I mean, there's a reason why, like in Winter Soldier, they introduced Sharon, but you don't know who she is. And then when it's introduced in Civil War, it's like it's a little weird. It's a little
It's a little weird, but okay.
Yeah. But they find the recording of Red Skull's parents getting killed, and that's like the Achilles heel to slow him down, so they can end his bomb to blow up. Whatever. Yeah, I don't see a good. I will say that. Oh, there we go. There's our Red Skull makeup. This is exclusively at the beginning of the movie. And I will say, I do appreciate how this movie doesn't mess around with Hydra. Just like, oh yeah, no, these guys are Nazis.
Yeah.
We don't have to call them super Nazis. Although I will stand by Hydra is absolutely Nazis still.
Oh, they are super Nazis. Yes.
Yeah. Which is why I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking forward since we added Winter Soldier. I'm really looking forward to seeing Captain America beat the shit out of modern day Nazis. I just am.
I'm happy you bent the knee on that one.
Yeah.
I'm happy you did.
Well, you wanted to see him, and I was like,
I did.
I kind of want to see him too.
Yeah, I did. Just solely for that like elevator fight scene.
Dude, that elevator fight is so fucking badass.
Yeah,
it's almost as badass as a fight between Captain America and Red Skull. And
wait, were that brief moment where I thought he was going to straight start monologuing and playing the piano? God, that would have been such a much better ending.
Well, one thing that drives me nuts here. So in the early fight, when they first encounter each other, when there's the Nazi missile, and we can get into the side effects. So we're back in 1940, whatever, World War II. Captain America is fighting Red Skull, and they stop Captain America. They tie him to a rocket, and they're going to launch the rocket. And Captain America grabs Red Skull's hand, and he's like, "I'm going to take you with him." And Red Skull's like. And Red Skull pulls out a knife. In my mind, it's like, oh shit, is Captain America about ready to lose a hand? No. Red Skull decides to cut off his own hand for reasons?
But that don't
I
come
am
into
so
play
baffled.
at all later.
Yeah.
At
So he
all.
loses a hand, but then later it doesn't matter because like they don't even bring up like it being a synthetic hand or something. He just has a hand again.
He just has a robot hand, and it's all right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah. Dude, okay, this is where it gets really insane. So when he is launched, a young boy who is visiting the White House looks out the window and sees him flying the rocket into the Antarctic.
He somehow got what he had a hotel that across from the White House. Now,
yeah,
I don't know if you personally have ever been to DC, Chaos. Have you?
No,
like at all? Okay, I have. There is no fucking hotel with that view in the front.
So wait, there's no hotel across the street from the White House.
No,
that allows a perfect view of a rocket fired from Germany to the Antarctic.
It's actually a park where the monument sits.
What?
It's actually.
Are you saying this movie isn't realistic?
No, not at all. I mean, geographically for that.
While the kid looks outside the window and sees the rocket with Captain America and remembers what he looks like, and it can talk about how he had a blue outfit with an A on it, and he's a hero that saved us all. And
because he kicked a rocket and it just went right above him.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like this movie, it's not a high budget movie. It's higher budget than the last two Captain America movies for sure. But it's not a high budget movie. But I don't know. I think maybe put a little bit more into the script. I don't know. Because one more read through, too much to ask. I don't know. Anyways, Captain America gets unfrozen. You know, he gets girls trying to kill him. Yeah, that's girls trying to kill him. He gets, and then he steals Ned Beatty's car, which is the highlight.
Oh yeah, Ned Beatty's in this movie too.
Yeah. So a little bit of trivia in case you guys are wondering, because everybody's always like, who was the first person to be in both a Marvel and DC movie? And I see all types of guesses that are quite bad. It's like Ben Affleck and Ben Affleck, I think, is really bad. But yeah, there's all types of guesses, and I'm pretty sure it's Ned Beatty because he had done Superman the movie and then he did this. I'm pretty sure that's got to be it. He did them both 1990.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else who'd done a Marvel and DC project that early.
Keaton's the only one that comes to mind for me.
Who'd done both Marvel and DC?
Yeah, but I mean, like the Marvel was a long time.
Yeah.
That was a long payoff until that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know there's earlier ones. I'm bringing. Oh yeah, I mean Ryan Reynolds would be before that.
Yeah.
I know there's more, but yeah, yeah, and it's
unless Shaquille O'Neal has made an appearance in the MCU, then
Oh God, yeah, we'll get to that movie in a few weeks.
Oh, I'm excited for that one.
I'm both excited and dreading it. It is. Shaquille O'Neal as a lead actor sounds amazing. Oh, I like that. My headcanon for the MCU president is the kid Captain America saved at the beginning of the first Avenger who said, oh, okay. For a second, I thought you were going to say your headcanon was the kid from this movie. Which, yeah, sir, this will be canon with the MCU. But yeah, so Captain America has this brilliant tactic. I don't know if you're aware of this, but oh shit, Bobby, I'm not feeling well. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, he has this brilliant tactic where he gets sick and then he wanders off and then he waits for the other person to get distracted and then he takes over.
Brilliant, clever. I see.
Yeah,
what you
it was
did
very
there.
clever. It was very clever. No, I stole the podcast just like Captain America steals a car. Which I mean, I always feel like the reference in Winter Soldier where Black Widow and Captain America are suddenly have a car, and and the only explanation is Scarlett Johansson saying, "Where did Captain America learn to steal a car?" And I feel like they have to be talking about this movie when they throw that in there. They have to, because I know the in-canon reason was Nazi Germany, but it's got to be this movie, right? He just acted big and stole some people's car.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that had to have happened a few times while, at the war. So,
but yeah, it is revealed. What they talk about how Red Skull killed John Kennedy, he killed Robert Kennedy, he killed Martin Luther King Jr. And then, oh yeah, there's Ned Beatty, and then they get attacked, and then he steals the car. I'm glad you enjoy this. Like I said, for me, this movie's a chore, but there are definitely those moments where I'm like, okay, that's hilariously bad. I'm trying to think, is there? Oh yeah, we actually get both parents from A Christmas Story in this movie.
I noticed that.
Melinda Dillon actually plays Steve Rogers' mom. Very briefly at the beginning, and then you get Darren McGavin, who's played by Bill Mummy actually in the World War II time period. And then he's played by Darren McGavin in the future, who is complete simp for Red Skull.
You know what's funny though? I will admittedly, while watching this, me and my buddy who we were watching this, it did quickly become into like a Mystery Science Theater session as soon as like you recognized him.
It has to.
Oh, and again, we enjoyed it that way.
I was about ready to say maybe that's my issue. I watch it by myself.
So
I just need to call some friends over.
Whenever he was like, going on saying like, "Oh no, I'm an expert. Is there a furnace? I got it." And even a few times gonna conflab if you do that during all of his scenes, it's just
I mean, it's
also
worth noting.
Just go like once, not a finger.
This movie has a decent cast, honestly. Dory
Let's
Dillon,
talk about this real quick. This scene here.
Yes.
The president wearing jeans.
Yeah, I was like, are they telling us something, or was that just what Ronnie Cox wore walking in that day? Because I feel like that's probably just what Ronnie Cox wore. Because it felt really off. The general who's being controlled by Red Skull is trying to get the president to do something. The president tells him in very nice terms, essentially, "fuck off," and then that's kind of just the whole conversation here. But the jeans really stood out because it was just like. It just didn't sit right. It's like, is he about ready to go for a hike? Like, is there a reason he's wearing jeans? I'm confused. But as I was saying, there's decent cast here. We already brought up Darren McGavin and Melinda Dillon, Ronnie Cox, Ned Beatty. Actually, kind of surprising. She looks familiar to me, but I looked her up. I couldn't find anything about her. So, it probably just looks like somebody. But I do think Bobby watches the right way and I watch it the wrong way. I do. Do not. Oh yeah. So I do think it's worth noting that Steve at the beginning is literally just like, he looks the same, but he just walking around with a limp. He's just like, is that what we're doing? He's just limpy.
Yep, that's all. He's just, he's just
whoa.
Yep, pretty much.
And I don't know how they clearly have a bigger budget for Captain America suit, but make it look so much worse. Considering the last one was a low bar to clear and they failed.
Well, first thing I said when I saw the president was like, "Hey, check it out. It's that evil dude from RoboCop."
Yeah. Also the evil dude from Total Recall.
Yeah.
He frequently plays
he not always. He was a police captain in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, I was about ready to say, I think he's Ronnie Cox might be Paul Verhoeven's favorite guy to play like the corporate villain.
Because he's like so good at it.
He is.
Like, he's good at playing a scumbag.
Yeah.
Which probably means he's like a super nice dude.
It depends. Probably. I haven't heard anything bad about him.
Yeah.
I know
we both
James
could-
Woods was always the one that disappointed me because he always played a dickhead. It's like, I bet you he's a nice guy, and then you follow his Twitter. It's like, oh, no, he's not. No,
Oh, yeah, he's kind of a scumbag.
yeah, he's a scumbag.
Well, hey, but no, I mean, like his house did burn down, and as much of a scumbag as he is, I wouldn't want that to happen to my worst enemy.
No. But if you're looking to help anybody, Lindsay Pankhurst, my co-host for my Star Trek streams, I think he still has a GoFundMe. I'll have to dig it out. I was sharing it a while ago.
How is
yeah,
Lindsay
he lost
doing?
his house too. He's doing all right actually. He's
And his
right
dad?
now they're doing all right. They're staying
Okay.
at a friend's house, and they're looking at a new place to get. He's talked about how he has a laptop, but he doesn't have much in the way of recording equipment yet. But yeah, they're getting back on their feet, which is excellent.
That's good.
But yeah, so Captain America 1990. Do not watch this alone, but like I would say, if you want to watch Mystery Science Theater, it's probably
Yes.
amazing in Mystery Science Theater.
And
this.
do not watch it low.
So what you're saying is I should have waited for a day off and watched it not low. No.
Yes.
Well, everything's better when I watch it not low, Bobby.
Well, I mean, I know that. Exactly. That's also how I watched the Star Trek movie, which that didn't help it.
We will get into it.
But let's go from something. Oh yeah, this man's
Yeah,
mustache. That's the next point I wanted to bring up about this movie.
Oh yes.
I also
Yep.
did love the old man who stayed with his old crush. Like how quick he was ready just to kick somebody's ass the whole time.
Yeah.
You're just, oh, what the hell's going on out here?
Oh, can we talk about the eye holes for Captain America's suit? Because it looked like they didn't size it right for his face.
Like it looked like it was made for somebody else, and then Cap
Yeah.
was recast.
Yeah, was that what happened?
No, that's just what it looks
No?
like to me too.
But yeah, like it looks like it's way too off to the sides. It's like center it for his eyes. What are you doing? Yeah, that is a very real ear, by the way. Don't question it as
Yeah,
actual
that is
ear.
his ear. That is his
Sure,
ear.
sure. Oh yeah, there's the kids. The one. This is supposed to be. I believe this is supposed to be Ronnie Cox and Ned Beatty when they're kids.
Yep.
There's Ronnie Cox telling Ned Beatty, "I saw the Captain America fired from a rocket. He saved the country." It's like you saw a rocket that was fired from Germany to the Antarctic, and oh yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. So they find him, and I guess they transport him to Canada because, like, I thought they were still in the Antarctic, but like he defrosts
But it was a
and then he runs
German-
to America.
But
And
it
it's
was it was a German mining area
Yeah,
or something that was in Alaska or Canada.
it was weird.
Well, where did Ned pick him up exactly? Was it Canada?
It was in the woods. That's all I know. I think they said it was Canada, but
Yeah, that was. But yeah, he just essentially just drives back to America.
yeah, I know. Like the idea that this is maybe a poorly thought out story and that they didn't have all the details worked out. It's mind blowing.
And to think this
Um,
came from one of the creative minds of Canon Films.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I know this doesn't mean anything, and maybe people do sit around like this, but I don't know. That looks really uncomfortable to me. Having that pencil pressing against your head like that. I know it doesn't mean anything, but when I was watching this scene, I was like, God, that looks fucking uncomfortable. Why don't you
It
just
does
tuck
look
behind
so
your ear?
uncomfortable.
Yeah. Why would you stick it there? It just ugh. I'm on Blue Sky too.
As am I.
And yeah, I know you brought up earlier that I haven't seen you for a while, and that is true, and it's good to see you back in chat. But yeah, this is bad. Do not watch this alone. Watch this with friends. It's also on YouTube, so if you want to watch it with friends, don't watch it entirely clear. But yeah, get some friends together. You can have some fun with this. Otherwise,
Yeah.
no.
Otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time. It'll be
Yeah.
some deep hurting. Speaking of deep hurting, we're gonna move right along to the next segment.
Well, the next one's Discovery. I won't call this deep hurting, but
I beg to differ.
okay. Well, I will say so. I will. Okay. So there's a couple thoughts I have on this. Number one, I was not expecting this season to be a sequel to a TNG episode that, like, it's a fine, well-paced episode, but I always thought was kind of silly. So, Bobby, I know. I mean, obviously they have bunches of photos from TNG in that episode, but that is the episode where Picard ends up in a chase of a whole bunch of other alien races, and they're following these clues, and the clues leads them to this alien race. I believe they're long dead, but they find a recording from the alien race that essentially says the reason why all races in the or most races in the galaxy are humanoid is because we seeded them with variations of our DNA. So all races are kind of descended from us. We are like the original race, which is a way to explain in canon why almost everybody in Star Trek is humanoid. And I'll be honest, while I think that's a decent episode that's finely paced and well done, I think explaining that is silly because the reason why all the races are humanoid in Star Trek is because it's a show that is recorded in modern day and we have humans working on it. And you suspend disbelief on shit like that because it's just what they have to work with. I don't know. I always think it gets silly when they feel the need to explain, like, oh, the makeup changes, oh, this happens, oh, that. It's like, it's a fucking TV show, guys. I understand. Budgets change. You might want to expect. I get it, okay. But another thing I wanted to bring up. So I'm watching this, and they're going after a secret weapon apparently made by the alien race in that TNG episode, which seems weird, but okay. But anyways, like, I'm watching it, and it's like I'm kind of okay with it. Kind of interested in seeing what they do with Commander Raynor, although that name makes me think of StarCraft every time they say it, and I can't help it because I played StarCraft too much in my goddamn life. I was addicted to that game in college, by the way, guys. But we got to episode 4, and that was by far the highlight of this first half of the season for me, because that was pretty much a self-contained episode where they're dealing with this like little time bug that is forcing Raynor and Burnham and Stamets through different points in Discovery's history. And they're racing against it because the whole point is to keep them locked in this time loop where they can't get out and allow other people to catch up to the clues. But it was pretty much just a self-contained episode. Oh, shit. Hold on one moment.
Oh.
Bobby, give out your thoughts.
Well, I mean, it's no secret that I haven't been the biggest fan of Discovery for it. Well, since we started it, I still feel that maybe a lot of it is just my own expectations of what the show should be, and what we've actually been getting is a bit of a letdown. Give me a moment, folks. Let me just build up, get my own IMDb up so I can. I know I should have this ready, but I don't. I know. It's so bad. All right. There we are. All right. So in the first episode, we had the race, which that one was pretty cool for the most part. Let's see here. Yeah. 800 Romulan vessel. I had 75 there on the boat on the hunt. So, yeah, this one was very interesting. I'll admit I did watch this one first out of the batch, but that was also after binging Captain America and Star Trek 31, so I might have been a little too trekked out at that point. Yeah, this batch that we watched also introduced something with Saru, how Saru has gotten a job offer, and I was wondering whether or not he would take it, but it would be like a huge bump for him. So that's kind of a side plot point that was dealt with throughout the series.
And I am back, but it's not. I'm not gonna go on video.
Okay.
So like yeah. So I sometimes, and I swear it's fucking random. We'll just get a nosebleed. It's not common. It maybe happens once every couple years. But here I am with
Okay.
one suddenly on me. So good fun. But yeah, it'll take me a few minutes to take care of that, but I can talk.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't know if I finished my original point, but my original point with Face the Strange was that was pretty much a self-contained little adventure for the characters. And I like that. And I kind of wish Discovery did more of that. Because there are random episodes where they do that, but most of it's part of the big story arc. And I don't have any major issue with big story arcs, but I would like it if they did more self-contained stuff. I think I like Star Trek best when it's kind of like Deep Space Nine or even Strange New Worlds or Lower Decks, where like, yeah, sure, there's an overarching story, but like most of the episodes just are their own thing, and you can just watch them wherever.
Yeah, where they kind of add little bits of the main overarching story into it, but like just salt and pepper it through. But each one is its own self-contained episode. Yeah, I'm more of a fan of that too. I kind of don't.
Yeah.
I feel that they try to lean too much into that and have the side points with it, which is something that I've kind of I kind of like really started to pay attention to try and figure out exactly what is it that irks me about the storytelling in this. And that is one of the major ones I've come to find that that's what I dislike a lot about this series of how they're telling the story.
There's very few little standalone episodes like that, and I really think overall, while I definitely like Discovery more than you, I think it would absolutely benefit from having more standalone stories. I'm not saying they can't be connected to the main story, but like overall, just having a one episode adventure that isn't like integrated thoroughly into the story. And I don't know, like. So far this season, I do think there's some interesting stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I spent quite a few episodes trying to figure out what the fuck race Raynor was. I was like, is he a Vulcan? No, he's not acting emotionless. Maybe he's a Romulan. But the ears look really weird. I don't know why they would suddenly change the ears. And then suddenly they just drop it in when he mentions boiling a cake. And then somebody says...
boiling a cake,
and somebody mentions, wait, Kellerans boil a cake, and he's like, you have to try it. It's like, I don't think I will.
Don't knock it unless you've tried it.
Even
hearing that, I was going, I'm all right.
I think I'll take your word on it and just go without.
Take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on. But I had to look up, and Kelleran, it sounded familiar, and it was from a Deep Space Nine episode. I want to say early, maybe season 2 Deep Space Nine. But yeah, they're kind of they're it's kind of just an excuse for them to explore a species that kind of got hinted at before, and I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish they'd introduced that earlier, because I was really like, this guy's got to be like a Romulan, right? Because like he definitely doesn't act like a fucking Vulcan, and he's got the pointy ears.
And they kind of made him like unnecessarily a dick, I think.
To a degree, yeah. I feel like he has lots of growth, but I assume that's part of the story for this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is kind of abrasive, and like to a degree, I like it, but is kind of like, dude, tone the fuck down sometimes. um, and then the other big thing that they do, that was in the very last episode. We actually get to see the Breen without their face mask, which
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like, okay. I wasn't expecting or asking for that. I do think the backstory with the bounty hunters they're competing with is, I think it's interesting. And it does kind of make them sympathetic. I think
Oh,
they did a
really?
decent job with that. But
I think she's kind of a terrible actress.
oh, really? Yeah, I thought she's fine. But you know, and I did
That's
think
all
it was
right, yeah.
interesting to see somebody go against somebody in the Breen go against the Breen, because they've always been this robotic race. But in Deep Space Nine, they always talk about how you know they're supposed to wear that suit for environmental reasons, but then there's discussion behind the scenes, and they're like, their planet's actually quite nice. They don't need to wear the suit. It's like these Breen are just kind of dicks, just wearing suits and speaking a foreign language for no reason. And this Discovery decides to go ahead and finalize that and say, yeah, they're just kind of distant dicks.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. The thing that was hinted at before is now firmly established. We get some more Trill stuff, which is all right. Yeah, I'm okay with this season. I like it. I definitely have issues with it, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it so far. I kind of want to see how the series wraps up. But yeah, I was able to listen while I was gone. But like your point of it not reaching its full potential is something I absolutely agree with Discovery.
Well, and it's also maybe the expectations I have and built up for it were bigger than what I got.
Yeah, and I will say, I think Discovery does more than Voyager than Enterprise did back in the day with like the setup and then what they actually end up doing with it. I think Discovery is doing better than they did, but it's still not reaching its full potential, in my opinion. But
I also think that they've introduced too many like side I guess not like lead but supporting roles.
Yeah, there's lots of
and there's so many like side plot points that go on so much that I just think it drowns and takes away too much from the lead story at times when they're trying to tie everything up.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the issue. Like, I think if they took all the main storyline stuff and instead of what they do is spread it out throughout like pretty much all the episodes, took the main storyline stuff and made like maybe like 3 or 4 episodes in the season that are all about the main story. And then let like the rest of the episodes kind of breathe and let kind of like those side stories like expand out and be like just
for those
a full
side
episode.
Well, like for
That
those
could be
side
fun,
stories, that arced over 3 or 4 episodes. They can cut all that into one episode and have that just be this character's episode or whatever. Kind of kind of how they did it on Next Gen. You know. Yeah.
Well, especially like
but
Deep
again,
Space Nine, because Next Gen didn't really do ongoing storylines, but like Deep Space Nine,
no, but
and even
they had
Strange New
episodes
Worlds and Lower Decks, Modern Time.
Well, yeah,
but
they still had episodes like totally fixated after like a certain crew member. Like they had a Worf Heavy episode or a Data episode, or Jory, or I can't remember her name, Gates McFadden episode.
Crusher.
Thank you. It was right there.
Absolutely.
And then they had a Wesley episode.
Poor Wesley.
Yeah. My favorite was the Lost episode where just like Picard just loses it with him and just shit out of him.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how the series wraps up. I overall like it, but yeah, it's definitely not as good. And I will also say, I know this wasn't planned to be the final season. The story came out that like they were midway filming the last episode of the season when it was when they found out that it was actually the last episode of the series. So, and to my understanding, they do a good job wrapping it up. But yeah, it is one of those things where it's like, why don't you just give him a chance to actually do a formal wrap up? But yeah, well. Well. Want to go into something worse?
Yeah, let's get on with
All right.
it.
So the first Star Trek movie in almost 9 years, Star Trek Section 31. Was it worth the wait? No. I'll just be no. So I knew a little bit of the production going into this. I know this was intended to be a series, so this was essentially a pilot episode, and essentially, they decided not to go forward with the series, but I guess they filmed the pilot and they turned it into a movie. And I was like, will they rework it into a movie? And upon watching it, no. This is technically a Star Trek movie, but it feels like a pilot episode that's not going to have a series. Like, you can't watch this and tell me like this wasn't meant to be a pilot. And I will say, as far as Star Trek pilots go, it's not the worst Star Trek pilot. It's far from the best, very far from the best. In fact, the only one I'm thinking of that is worse is it's got to be Encounter at Farpoint, because TNG season 1 was rough with TNG. It's wild that series became as good as it was, but yeah, I don't think this is the worst thing ever. I think like the story moves at a decent pace. I'm always down for can we actually get shots from the actual movie? I'm always down for Michelle Yeoh kind of overacting as her Emperor Giorgio character. But
no, she certainly doesn't overact in that role at all.
Well, I do think it's funny. Like, I've heard dipshits criticizing her. Oh my god, she's overacting. It's like, no shit, she's overacting. The whole character is designed to be overacted. And it's not like Star Trek's immune from overacting. Let's be honest. But yeah, yeah. I'm at a struggle to even say much. So, I guess there's not even that much photos for it. I guess it hasn't been out that long. The whole story is, and I was kind of expecting to get more of a story about what happens to her after she goes through the gateway. I'm brain farting on what it's called, but the gateway to forever or whatever. The gateway to forever or whatever. Sure. We'll go with that. But no, like it just kind of catches up with her. It seems like a time period later, but probably not too far off from like Strange New Worlds. Giorgio makes a nightclub that is apparently a space station that also doubles as a spaceship, because they'll have to have a ship to pilot around for the TV series that is not getting made. But she gets contacted from agents from Section 31 to help her track down this dude who is from the Mirror Universe, although I don't think they know they're from the Mirror Universe. Yeah, so yeah, I like this movie is less like overall, like it just kind of exists. That's kind of my feelings towards it. It's fine. I didn't hate myself for watching it, and I have no intention to watch it again.
I hate
ever.
It.
Well, go ahead and go into your thoughts, Bobby, because I imagine you're not going to get much disagreement from me. Because
the potential for this I felt was very high. I felt of it like it could definitely be a Star Trek Suicide Squad,
Yeah, and I will say one of the things
certainly was built up that way.
Yeah, one of the things this movie does better than the 2016 Suicide Squad is you'll get introduced to your main crew, and then they all get little backstory, so they all feel about equal, and then fairly quickly they start dying, and it's like, well, at least if you're gonna do the awkward, clumsy exposition backstories of characters that are gonna start dying, at least give them all equal time. So I'm not just going, oh yeah, that Slipknot guy's gonna die immediately, and then that's it. They do pull races out of this crew, out of Star Trek canon, which I thought was interesting. So one of the guys, Quasi, he is a Comaloid, who is the shape-shifting race that helps Captain Kirk and McCoy escape Aurora Penthe in Star Trek 6. And I think that's probably about the only other time we've seen them. So I think it's fun to see that again.
No, I thought that was cool. I was like, hey, all right.
And then we also have Mel, who is a Deltan, very, very beautiful. She is the same race as Ilia from Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Supposedly the race that like seduces everybody who comes in contact with them. I believe this is the second time we've seen that race in Star Trek. And spoiler, she dies. So I guess Deltans just die when they pop up fairly quickly. I thought it was fun kind of pulling races from canon. Unfortunately, the Comaloid's around for the whole thing. Seems like if it went to series, he'd probably become a regular. And I guess the main Section 31 guy that contacts Giorgio, Sahar, he is an augment. They don't really they talk about, but they don't really explore, and that's one of the big complaints I had with this. This is so much exposition, fucking much. Like the story stops so often to explain so much. And it's like, even for a pilot, which I understand if it's a pilot, you want to stop and explain the elements to continue the series, but you still have to pace it a bit better than this. Because if it's going to go to series, you're going to have time to explain this. You don't have to have all your characters' intricate backstories set up before the series. Just make a good pilot, which like I said, I don't think this is the worst thing ever, but like I wouldn't call it good at all. It's a
no, and I think like you might have had to at least watch some of the Michelle Yeoh Discovery stuff to kind of get the character.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So like when they started in the Mirror Universe, I was like, I didn't want to do any more Mirror Universe. I'm so burnt out with Mirror Universe. But I was like, okay, I'll let it do some Mirror Universe stuff, just because that's where Giorgio is from. So it's like, okay, I will forgive it. But there's actually a lot to do with the Mirror Universe in this. A lot.
Yeah, there was.
It sets up her whole villain from the Mirror Universe, and he comes to this universe to get his revenge. And he brought the Godsend, which is a secret device that she made in the Mirror Universe that will destroy the entire universe. And he's going to use it to destroy this universe, and she has to stop him. And it's like, yeah. Okay. And
yeah,
again, I don't think this is like the worst thing ever, but it's not good. It's not good at all.
Yeah, it really wasn't that good.
The villain reveal was not shocking at all. Like, yeah, the second that dude, like one of the characters, Fuzz here, he's a Vulcan, but he's not actually a Vulcan. He's actually a robot that looks like a Vulcan that's driven by a microscopic being that can control cybernetic beings. We also have Zeph, who is a cybernetic being. And while they're on a mission and they know there's a mole, Fuzz, who is kind of just annoying, starts acting just very robotic and kind of out of character. And no one seems to fucking notice. And then Zeph goes, essentially starts stealing stuff and starts acting like the mole. And everybody's like, oh, Zeph is the mole. But then it's like, okay, yeah, it's obviously Fuzz, guys. It's obviously Fuzz. And yeah, so Zeph gets killed. Fuzz is the mole. Spoilers for a not very good TV pilot that got turned into a movie. Okay, so one thing I really got to talk about. So they were talking about a secret cameo in this. And I was like, ooh, I would love it if they like did like a maybe just like a gave like William Sadler like a brief like cameo, maybe like de-age him or something, or maybe just have his voice. That'd be amazing because William Sadler was like the original Section 31 guy from Deep Space Nine when it was first introduced. Have him introduce that. That just for a little like hey, if we're gonna throw a cameo in there, that sounds like the fun one to do. Don't give him a big role. Just like okay. That's not the unexpected cameo, guys. And I'm fine spoiling it. We've already spoiled plenty. The unexpected cameo really came out of left field for me. It was fucking Jamie Lee Curtis, which I was just like,
yeah.
I was like, what?
I'll admit that caused me to laugh just because it was just
really?
what the fuck is?
Yeah. Okay. I would never have guessed that in a million fucking years. You guys had me. So I guess Jamie Lee Curtis can now put Star Trek on her resume, although not the best.
No.
And yeah, I wasn't sure. Like, I guess she's supposed to be a cyborg, but I was like, what? She's supposed to be like a recovered Borg? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, this isn't great. This is really kind of sloppy. I easily see why they looked at this and decided not to go to series. And it is disappointing because I do like Michelle Yeoh's Emperor Georgiou, especially upon rewatching Discovery. I like what they did with her character. Her cheesy overacting is awesome, but this isn't the way to bring her back at all. So it's kind of disappointing, I think, to pretty much just waste her on this. But well, I can't think of too much else to say. Do you have anything else to add, Bobby?
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, it's not good.
Kind of a stinker, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just kind of ready for them to reboot Next Gen into movies.
I wouldn't. You know what kind of annoys me? Like they've been talking about a fourth Kelvin timeline movie for a little bit, and I'll be honest, I love Star Trek Beyond. So like if they brought back that team, I'd be down. But after Into Darkness, I'm not really down for J.J. Abrams coming back because it's not like 2009 was awesome because it did bring back the franchise, but it's like it wasn't like the best thing ever by any means. I thought Beyond was really the one that captured Star Trek.
I also know the whole cast has said they wouldn't return without Anton. So.
Oh, have they said they're going to return without Anton?
I've heard a lot. I've heard a few of them say that. I know that.
I had heard that because I heard like they absolutely are not recasting Chekhov, but they did introduce a new character in Beyond, kind of coincidentally, that would work. I mean, she's completely different than Chekhov, but yeah, she would work as another member of the crew. But yeah. I mean, it's been almost 10 years, so I don't think it's happening. Hey, I'm still looking forward to Strange New World Season 3 because that was a hell of a cliffhanger in Season 2. There's still Star Trek to look forward to.
When are we getting it, man?
There is not a date, so all I know is this year. I know.
We should get another season of Lower Decks.
Yeah.
I know that's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'd be down for more Lower Decks. Yeah.
Or at least a Lower Decks movie.
Well. or maybe yeah, they could do like a spin-off series, Star Trek Upper Decks with Boimler and Mariner and
as
Ransom.
officers.
I'd be down with that.
As
shit.
officers.
Yeah. As bridge officers? Fuck yeah. But yeah, so that's all we're covering this week. Next week, we're going to be covering the first 2 episodes of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which will be the Disney Plus animated Spider-Man series. We got Captain America 2011. Yes, we're going to see Captain America beat up some fucking Nazis. I'm excited. And then we're going to wrap up Star Trek Discovery, the whole series, the whole fucking series, and be done with it.
Thank God.
Hey, yeah. Like I said, I definitely enjoy it more than you, but yeah, it
I've been waiting,
as good as it could
waiting
be.
for this day. I've been waiting for this day since season 3.
Yeah, But yeah, that's the plan for next week. There'll be an initiative stream Wednesday. I'll do a solo stream Thursday. Oh yeah, and speaking of solo streams, I got the comic book poll for that week up. It's gonna be DC book. Let me hold on. I'm waiting for the internet here. All right, and yeah, some of you guys have already noticed we already got 17 votes on it. And Absolute Wonder Woman's winning, which I kind of figured, but you know, we'll see what happens, and who comes in second place counts too. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Anything you want to talk about, Bobby, before we sign off?
No, I'm good.
All right. And yes, a Lower Decks movie series, I'm down for that as well. Honestly, anything Mike McMahon, who was the showrunner for Lower Decks, if anything he wants to do Star Trek after Lower Decks, I'm down. Give it to him. But yeah, guys, party on. Be excellent to each other.
Take care.
Yeah.